History being made here today at Kennedy High School for the first time ever. We have girls badminton being broadcast on BEC TV. It is going to be a fun afternoon. If you don't know all the rules of badminton, we'll educate you all on that. It should be a great match between Kennedy and Eden Prairie. I'm joined by the Kennedy head coach, Todd Kennedy, an appropriate name for a Kennedy head coach. I'm Josh Powers. And Todd, I know we've worked hard, our crew has, to put this match together, and it should be just a great afternoon of badminton here for the first time ever on our network.
It will be. We're very, very excited to be here. Really appreciative of BEC coming out to support our girls. Thank you.
Let's get right into it. We're going to have the player introductions. We're going to let Todd introduce the Kennedy team. For Eden Prairie side, we have their captain, Abby Ladegard. So take it away. Let's meet the players that are going to be competing in this afternoon's match.
All right, welcome everyone. Welcome Eden Prairie. Thanks for coming over to play some badminton today. Let's have some fun, girls. So starting off, our lineup, number 1 singles, Kim.
Tween.
Kennedy, number 2 singles, Taylor.
Sunny.
And our number 3 singles player, Kaylee.
Abby.
And our number 4 singles players today, Varsity, Dulce.
Manushree.
And moving on to doubles, our number 1 doubles team, Belle and Candace.
Sophie and Grace.
Our number 2 doubles team today, Fagencia and Lil Kim.
Paige and Ellen.
And our number 3 varsity doubles team today, Helen and Somi.
Maya and Caitlin.
All right, good stuff, girls. And moving on to JV, JV number 1 singles, one of our captains, Jenna.
Carethi.
And number 2 singles, Brittany.
Kat.
Kennedy number 3 singles, Brenda.
Emma.
And our number 4 singles player today, Vida.
Rhea.
All right, and moving on to JV doubles number 1, one of our captains, Julia, and her partner, Itzel.
Laurel and Lucy.
Number 2 doubles, JV, Olivia and Yoli.
Sophie and Kara.
All right, nice wave to the camera there, girls. Number 3, JV doubles, Galaway and Tiffany.
Tanvi and Olivia.
And we have rounding out a roster playing exhibition today, all announced, Julie and Ariana and Brittany and Naimo.
And we have Mahika and Trixie.
Yes, exciting day, making history, as we said. All right, now Coach Derek will take over, and we're going to get ready for our broadcast.
Sounds great. Thanks, Todd, and thanks to Abby Ladegard, the captain for Eden Prairie. So, Todd, just seeing all the names being introduced, there is a lot of interest, obviously, from both sides. We've seen a ton of participants. It has to be great as the head coach to see such an interest in the sport of badminton. I know it's new to Kennedy since 2016, but you have to be thrilled with the numbers on your side in Eden Prairie as well.
Very much. You know, when we first started this program back in 2016, like you said, and this might be a good opportunity to give a quick shout out. We had 3 key individuals who really got the program going for us. Number 1 was one of our staff members, Hung Fung, and we had an athletic director, Matt Hansen, who also was very supportive of the program, and one of our original superstars, who we'll talk more about later, Chusong Nasong. Those 3 started the program, and when we first started, we had about 14 girls out, and last year, kind of pre-pandemic, pre-COVID, we were up to 50 girls. So it's an awesome sport. You don't really need to have played before. You don't need to be going to camps all summer long, spending all kinds of money. You show up with some tennis shoes and a good attitude, and you can learn how to play badminton.
That was one of the things, and I played tennis for Jefferson, so familiar with a similar game with a lot of similar rules, but that was the one thing that I gravitated toward in tennis. you don't need a lot of, you buy a racket, and that's pretty much about it. Badminton's kind of the same way. So how is this match going to work, Todd? Walk us through some of the logistics. Obviously, you're competing for a win against Eden Prairie. So how do the matches work? How do the points work? I know there's a possible total of 7 like there is in tennis. So just explain that to the viewers at home.
Correct. So the way it works in badminton is we have 4 girls participating in a singles match. Each of those matches is worth 1 point. And then we have 3 doubles teams. So there's 7 matches that make up, kind of the game. And, the team that wins 4 or more is the winning team. So sometimes you might end up with a 7-0. Sometimes you might end up with a 4-3. So 4 singles, 3 doubles. And we'll, get, I think, an opportunity to see our number 1 singles, our number 2 singles, our number 1 doubles, and depending on how much time we have, maybe even our number 2 doubles.
So yeah, there's going to be a bunch of matches going on at once. We're going to focus in on one match just for television's sake, but as we get results from the other matches, we'll certainly let the viewers in on those results, and we'll talk about the players. But Todd, your background, I know, watching some previous promotions that you guys have done in the media space. I know you have quite a background in the sport of badminton, and despite, in addition to the fact that your last name is Kennedy, you also seem like the perfect guy to lead this Kennedy badminton team.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it has been a fun ride for sure, and maybe one of the best things that I've ever been involved with. I coached hockey here for 14 years, had a great time doing that. Coached girls golf here for 20 years and had a great time doing that, but this has been awesome. It's been a lot of fun. I grew up in Canada. Badminton was very popular up there. So when I came down here, I was one of the few people who really knew about it. My wife would make the joke that, I told her I played varsity badminton to try to sound cool. It didn't really get me a lot of street cred with her because she thought it was like a backyard, family reunion kind of a game. And it's really evolved, as we'll see today. These athletes are awesome. And the way I like to describe a lot of them to people who don't maybe understand it is it's like a combination of a LeBron James and a ballerina. I mean, it's graceful, it's fluid, it's powerful, it's dynamic, it's exciting, it's nonstop action. It's really kind of a hidden gem and a fantastic sport. So, I teach physical education here at Kennedy, so I'm always on the lookout for some girls who look like they want to get involved in something, who might enjoy playing badminton, and it's really given a lot of our girls an opportunity to get involved in a high school sport.
I know I wish I would have had it back in the day, maybe as an alternate season to tennis in the spring, if we would have had badminton in the fall. Todd, I'm not built for sports like football. I wasn't fast enough maybe to be a soccer player, but it would have been something to add to my athletic experience at Jefferson as we get our first. This is number 2 singles we're watching now, right, Todd?
That is correct. So we have Taylor Oftenkamp for us here. Taylor's a great player and has only been playing for a couple years. Played doubles last year for us, and now moved to singles and is really, really playing well. So it'll be fun to watch her today.
And the Eden Prairie player, Sunny Desmuke. So we've got the Kennedy player on your left of your screen into the net there, and Sunny for Eden Prairie in the little bit darker black shirt as they're getting their number 2 singles match underway.
So that shot that you saw right there is one of the key shots in badminton, a little kind of a nifty drop shot. So, part of the strategy is you want to get your opponent back. You want to try to make them move left to right. Eden Prairie's doing a nice job with that right now. You can see Taylor's having to move up. She's having to move back. She's having to move left. She's having to move right. And, sometimes it takes a few minutes for these girls to kind of feel each other out and what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. Looks like the Eden Prairie girl came to play today with a nice smash right there. So, like I said, sometimes it takes a few minutes for them to get comfortable. Maybe a few nerves today, too, knowing that they're on TV. But this should be a good match to watch.
So we see the lines on the court, the out of bounds, or the, and correct me if I use any incorrect terminology, Todd,
Sure.
throughout the broadcast, but talk to us about those white lines, are kind of those out of play lines, the in-out lines, kind of similar to tennis, correct?
Correct, yeah. So the singles court is a little bit more narrow than the doubles court, and it's long. So the singles lines we would typically say are narrow and long. The doubles courts are a little bit wider.
So is that correct to say that that white outer line is the doubles out of the sideline, and then that blue, a little harder to see on the screen, but that blue inner line is going to be for the singles, is that right?
Yes, somewhat. So we have the challenge here sometimes in a regular gymnasium. There's all kinds of lines, basketball lines, volleyball lines. So we share the white line with volleyball. So that white line is part of the singles lines. And then we don't go all the way actually back to the blue. It's really difficult to see the lines here for us. They're a little bit lighter colored down the sidelines and at the back. So it's a lot of court to cover, especially when you're playing singles. You definitely need to move.
And there's no, similar to tennis, there's no official, so the players call their own in-outs by themselves. They call each other on faults, too. Talk about the serving, too, Todd. Good transition here.
Sure.
Somewhat similar to tennis in the fact that you have to go cross-court. You see that serve right there.
Yes, correct. So you have to serve cross-court. It has to be underhand. The few finicky rules of it is the racket head needs to be below your wrist, and the racket head also needs to be kind of right around your torso area, your stomach area. So it's an underhand serve. We might see some girls, especially in doubles, there's a little different style where it'll turn the racket over and do like kind of a flick backhand serve. But the common thread is yes, cross court and underhand. So nice drop shot there by Taylor. Now they're starting to kind of get warmed up a little bit and maybe realizing what their opponents are good at, maybe what they can take advantage of. There was a little flick backhand serve by Taylor and a nice smash.
2 straight points there for Taylor Oftenkamp. And again, you played a 21, Todd, rally scoring, so similar to volleyball.
Yes.
In terms of the scoring. A point is awarded on every point regardless of who serves, and best 2 out of 3 wins the match.
Correct, yeah. So badminton traditionally had been you only would score a point on your serve, and the games would up to 15. Well, what happened was, if
could take a while.
If you get 2 evenly matched players, that might take them an hour.
And that's why they changed that in volleyball too a number of years back.
Exactly. So it really keeps the game moving, and it also puts a premium on every serve. There's a point to be earned on every serve. So you really can't afford to take a few points off, or you could lose a few points pretty quickly.
Is there more of an advantage for the server or for the receiver, or is it about equal? What would you say there, Todd?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think it somewhat depends on the server. If the server is able to mix up their serve, mix in a few shorts, mix in some long, deep ones, I do think there is an advantage to being the server. However, if the server is unable to get their serve deep or mix in a few short ones, then they can get a little bit predictable, and then it's a little bit maybe more advantageous to be the receiver, where you can be ready to kind of smash it down. So you can see Taylor made the call there about, like you mentioned before, the girls make their own calls, they're their own judges. It's very high ethic sportsmanship kind of a game, and it's fun to watch them figure things out themselves. A couple of nice serves there by Taylor, short serves.
Good drop shot there, though, from
very good.
Sunny Desmuke. She's a sophomore. What grade is Taylor in, Todd?
Taylor's a junior for us.
Okay.
And has really improved a lot from last year. As I said, she went from a JV doubles player last year. We lost 9 seniors last year, and we had a lot of openings this year. Taylor really stepped up her game and came to play, so it's been fun to watch her develop. She works very hard in practice. She's usually one of the first ones here and usually one of the last ones to leave at the end.
Point there, I believe it's 18-11 in
believe
favor of
yes.
Sunny. Is that one, looks like it
I think that was out. So the other part of scoring and serving with badminton is if you have an even score, you serve from the right side of the court. If you have an odd score, you serve from the left. So I believe you're right. Taylor has 13 right now, Eden Prairie 18, based off of where Taylor was serving. So 14-18. Taylor going on a little bit of a run here. And Sunny's definitely played well in this match.
You talked about these 2 teams, Eden Prairie and Kennedy, very evenly matched. We're going to see here today, Todd.
Yes, we've had some great battles over the years, and I'll just make a quick comment on that. One of the strategies in badminton is it's very difficult to hit a backhand shot. So one of the things we coach a lot and talk about a lot is getting that birdie to your opponent's backhand, just like Taylor did right there.
No.
That one was just out, but
Okay.
you want to try to, make them get to their backhand spot because that's a tough one to work. But yes, Eden Prairie and Kennedy, that's an excellent shot. I've had some really fun, competitive matches the last 6 years, and when we first started, we really weren't sure what we were getting into. We had a lot of help from a lot of different programs, and Eden Prairie's been one that's helped us a lot from day one.
20-18, a comeback here from Taylor, but it is game point for Sunny. A nice rally here too, Todd.
Yes, excellent.
That will float.
That one
It floats long
just a
apparently,
little
so
long. So 19-20 here, and you also have to win by 2. So if Taylor can tie it up,
and she does.
Yeah.
This was 18-11, Todd. You have to.
yeah, you can definitely go on some good runs in badminton. It's a game of momentum, and it looks like Eden Prairie won that one. I thought maybe the score was a 1-point match.
Must have been 21-19 there.
Yeah. And the other challenge too sometimes is that it's difficult, to keep track of the score.
Right.
And we actually talked about that as a team last week. We had a really, really good, few players over the years, and there's been times when, we've lost track of the score, and, it's just something that there's a lot of things going on. So it's tough without anyone keeping score for you, but looks like Eden Prairie came out at least by 2 on that one.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I've seen that happen in tennis. In tennis, obviously, you don't have to count as high. It'd be a little easier for guys like me, right, Todd? You go to 15, 30, 40, and then from there, and then you flip the numbers on the net, and you don't have to keep track of the games either. So, yeah, 21 a little bit more challenging, but Eden Prairie wins that first game of the match there. So then. What's the protocol? Take a couple-minute break, Todd, and then resume game number 2 of the match?
Exactly. So right now Taylor's talking to one of our coaches, Pacheka, and Angela. Some former players I'll also talk about during this broadcast. Getting, probably a few pointers and some things that our coaches saw that maybe could help her out. And I think I also saw on the screen there, they're showing a few other games going on behind us. We have Somi and Helen over there in the doubles match. So quick little regroup, get a drink of water, a quick talk to the coaches. We try to keep it within maybe a minute or two to keep things moving. And then when they come back, they should switch sides of the court and be ready for game 2. So if Taylor were to win this game, then we go to game 3. If Eden Prairie were to win this game, then that's it. It's just the best of 3. So
It has to give Taylor some confidence. A nice comeback there for her in that second portion of that first game, Todd. And maybe we can get a shot of the Eden Prairie head coach too, John Becker, a guy as you told me off air, Todd, a coach for Eden Prairie that has some Bloomington ties.
Yes, his brother Jim Becker, longtime coach over in the Jefferson hockey program back in some of the glory years, and also coached in Egan. So Becker's been really good with our program. Getting us going, and a fun guy to coach against. So here we go for game 2. Looks like Eden Prairie starting off with a little drop shot again. She's really good at that. And we'll see if Taylor's able to make the adjustment this game. As you said, she really came on strongly there after being down 18-11 and rallied back to make it, I think, a 2-point game at the end.
And I'm just impressed with how hard the players hit it,
yes.
Todd. And it's not a huge court, obviously, but they are swinging with some pretty good force.
Yes, they really do. That birdie, a nice shot off the net. If it hits the net and goes over, that's good. That's all legal. They really do. There's some girls who can really, really smash it hard, and that's where I go back to, kind of the LeBron James and the ballerina. There's a lot of power element to this game, but there's also that kind of fine little soft touch about it too. And the girls who can have the combination of both. Those are the girls who are usually the most successful to be able to change it up and keep their opponents guessing.
And how much do you focus on footwork? I have to imagine, Todd, much like tennis, footwork just a critical component, getting yourself ready and in position to make a swing on whatever forehand, backhand, doesn't matter. Footwork's got to be critical.
Critical. You're absolutely right. Huge part of the game. We spend a lot of time working on footwork, so That's what we talk about. It's the basics of the game. You have to be able to move to get to the spot, to be able to make the shot. You know, if you can't get to the spot, then it's difficult. So footwork, to me, is one of the, if not the most important parts of the game. Correct. And both these girls are, have some pretty good height on them too, so that can also be helpful. And it's definitely not a necessity. I've seen some girls who have been under 5 feet tall that are absolutely amazing. But if you can, be a little bit taller and have a little bit of a longer reach and be able to move your body, it's definitely an advantage.
Nice smash there from Taylor to get a point as it's now on her serve.
Yes.
And back-to-back points.
Yeah, this looks like it should be another pretty good match here. And my guess would be if one of these girls is able to go on a little run and string together 4 or 5 points in a row, that might be the difference there. So that point by Eden Prairie is probably the exclamation point on how you want to play.
Yep.
She backed Taylor all the way up to the back of the court, and then hit a little drop shot, and Taylor couldn't get up to it in time. So if you can keep your opponent up and back and up and back, it makes it difficult and certainly can tire them out. So Eden Prairie looks like had a service fault, so point to Kennedy, point to Taylor.
And you don't get a second serve like tennis, just the one chance at it, the one bite at that serve.
Correct. Yep. No mercy on that. Oh, nice return. Only one opportunity, only one chance. So
right, even though it's called a fault like it is in tennis, there's no double fault.
That's
you just
correct.
Get the one. Sometimes you wish you want that redo, but
absolutely. There's a nice deep clear. That's a good shot. That's what Taylor needed to do right there to start backing Eden Prairie up a little bit. I'm sure that's what our coaches told her over there, was to hit that clear shot.
Yeah, this is a close one as expected. 9-8 in favor of Eden Prairie right now. Good point, but that one will go just wide. So 10-8, Sunny Desmute for Eden Prairie, leading right now here in game 2.
These girls are both executing their game plan fairly well. They're both making each other move around the court, and execution obviously is helpful too, to be able to execute the shot that you want to. It's like most sports, they say a game of mistakes. So
especially at this level, you get maybe into an Olympic type of thing, and maybe more points are won than lost. But,
yes.
but Coach Satterdown always told me the longer you stay in the point, the better chance you have of winning it, especially at the high school level. And that was my mentality. I wasn't going to overpower people. I was just going to be that wall, if you will, just try to keep it in play, and that certainly helps.
It absolutely does. And there's some drills that we'll do where we'll just hit clear shot after clear shot after clear shot after clear shot, and try to get your opponent frustrated, try to get them backed up, and ultimately sometimes they'll lose their patience and maybe try to make a shot that they're not capable of, and get frustrated, and that's hopefully where you can go on that run. So Taylor's kind of bouncing back here. That was an excellent return by Eden Prairie.
Great point.
Yeah, it's a very good point.
It goes to Taylor. That was a great return, as you said, a little flick, but then Taylor comes back with a nice, is that what you call a drive, or would you call that a smash?
Yeah, that would probably be, yep, no, you're right. That would be called a smash, and the drive would be maybe a little bit more of a straight shot, like maybe right at your opponent's chest. Smash, a little bit more of a downward trajectory, and both of those can be really effective. Nice smash right there. Taylor's very powerful. Their smash has really improved a lot this year. It's good deep serve. It's an excellent shot by Eden Prairie.
How excited was the team to play this match, and knowing that it was going to be televised, a little bit more pep in the step of the team heading into today?
Absolutely, yes, for sure. Very good drop shot there by Taylor. Yeah, they were very excited. I've been coaching here for 6 years, like we talked about, and we haven't had the chance yet to get on BEC, so they were very excited. We were very excited. We sent emails and Snapchats and tweets and Facebook messages to all of our girls that have come through the program, and friends and family around the world. Hopefully we'll be able to tune in today and see these girls play and learn what badminton is all about. So yeah, a lot of excitement today when they came in the gym. So we're really appreciative that BEC is giving some exposure to our program and to girls badminton. You know, there's a fellow out there, his name is Kevin Anderson, and Kevin has been very instrumental in helping develop the game of badminton. He works hard, he has his own website, and he does rankings and he does coverage, and he really helps with the state tournament. I spoke with him today to get some kind of background information on badminton in the state of Minnesota, and he said as far as he knew, you know, there hasn't been ever a TV coverage of a badminton match. So for any school, yeah. So we're really excited to maybe be the first ones.
And Tom Ringdahl and our crew helping. I have the easy job, just sitting here letting you explain everything, Todd, because you're so knowledgeable.
Well, I've listened to you for a lot of years on all sports, so it's actually fun to be sitting down at the table with you here. I appreciate you coming over. I look like that one might be long, so it's a good eye by Taylor.
I believe this is Taylor's first lead in this game, Todd, at 17-16. As that one may have landed in, it did.
Right on the line, I would assume. That's an excellent serve. And it is, you're right, it's tough, you know, especially with the masks on, to hear the score. You know, the girls are both supposed to say it loudly there, and now you can see Taylor's really starting to gain.
19-16 now, so much like in Game 1, Taylor going on a run here late, and it might be good enough to put this one away, 2 points away.
If you can get to that number 20, you know, that really starts to kind of put some pressure on your opponent. And this is a big point, so kudos to Eden Prairie there for battling back. So 17-19, I think, is that what we're thinking here?
Yeah.
Yes, so
great drop shot there from Sonny. And a second straight drop shot.
Yes. So
coming down to the wire
18,
here.
19, I would say this could be the point of the match right here. All right, so now Taylor needs to regroup a little bit, kind of mentally get composed, and see if she can get this next one. Good drop shot. Excellent. Both those girls have such a good touch around the net. Nice job, Eden Prairie.
In, so now match point all of a sudden.
This is it. 2019. All good recovery. That looks like it was going to be pretty close.
It was called out, I believe.
I think if that was...
Or no, that was in.
If that was in, I think that should be game.
And it is game, so what a great ending there for Sonny Dismuke. She was down 19-16 in that game number 2, Todd, and a result for Eden Prairie. So we'll let you go talk to Taylor. As Eden Prairie now leads this overall match 1-0. A nice effort, though, from Taylor Oftenkamp, but losing both games 21-19. Very closely contested between those young ladies, and Eden Prairie gets the result there. So that was just a very close, both games 21-19, Todd. Can't ask for any much closer than that. Both a great effort from both Taylor and Sonny. Just a couple of key points for, especially in that game number 2, where it looked like maybe Taylor was going to even things up and force that game 3, but well done for Eden Prairie there.
Yes, very, very well done. The Eden Prairie girl, Sonny, kept battling back and working hard and hitting that little drop shot. I think that was frustrating to Taylor. But yes, credit to Eden Prairie. You know, she was down late in that match and battled back. So now we'll have our varsity doubles number 1 warming up here. So they'll warm up for a few minutes, and the doubles game is fun to watch too, because boy, there's a lot of action. You know, the rallies don't usually last nearly as long.
Right.
You know, in a singles match, you might have a rally that is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hits. In doubles, oftentimes it might be 2 or 3 hits, you know, and that's it. So a couple of different ways to play doubles. You can play side by side, like the girls are standing right now. They each cover kind of their half of the court. But then as the game starts to play, you'll see one of them will rotate up to the front of the court to maybe hit a drop shot, and their partner will rotate back to cover the back of the court. So for the doubles, the key is communication and understanding if your partner is up, you're back. If your partner's back, you should be up. If your partner is on the right, then you should be on the left. So doubles is really exciting and fun to watch.
Now, do they communicate with? We used to do that with hand signals behind the back in tennis. Do they do kind of a similar thing in terms of? And I literally printed a glossary of terms with our first badminton coverage. So you obviously you know the terms. You called it correctly. You've got the side-by-side strategy or the up and back strategy,
Sure.
where one's in the front and one's in the back.
Yes, yes. So looks like we're kind of ready to go here.
Okay, maybe introduce the players
Yes.
for Kennedy here that we're going to see.
Absolutely. So the girl who just served and had a great smash there was Belle Sahadio, and her partner is Candice Liu, a couple of juniors for us and girls who've been playing for a few years and really work hard. Belle, multi-talented. She was in our talent show, a great singer, great dancer, great badminton player. And another one of our girls who really stepped up this year because, as I said, we lost 9 varsity girls last year. So it looks like Kennedy's off to a nice start. 3 points in a row. And great little drop shot there by both teams. And nice recovery by Eden Prairie. So this will be another fun one to watch. I anticipate it being just like Taylor's match with Sunny, pretty close.
And this the two Eden Prairie players, Sophie Clausen and Grace Mullen. They're both seniors for Eden Prairie. It's 4-1 Kennedy right now.
Yeah, Eden Prairie has typically had some really strong players over the years and some really good singles players and double players. They've had some state champions in the past. I think back in 2008, they had a singles champion, which is not very common. I'll talk about that in a little bit as well, too. St. Paul usually runs the table on champions, and I think they also had a doubles champion back in 2008, too. So Eden Prairie's got a very good, strong tradition in badminton.
Nice shot there from Bell.
That was, yep. Kennedy's off to a good start, and as we learned in the first match, it's a little bit of a game of momentum. You know, if you can string off 4 or 5 points in a row, you start to feel good about yourself. You start to get a little more confidence. You don't feel the pressure quite as much. You can play a little bit more relaxed, and I think right now that looks like what was going on with Kennedy, but Prairie says not so fast. They're on their way back.
It's 6-5 Kennedy right now. As that one will go long, not by much though.
No, that looked pretty close, and the part of the challenge with our gyms here is the lines are very, very light colored. I mean, you can barely pick them up on the screen, and it's tough. That was an excellent smash, excellent smash. Our girls have been working really hard on that with some of our coaches the last week, so it's kind of fun to see that pay off there. That was another nice serve.
Candice Liu with that nice serve. It just didn't, sometimes the position is more important than the pace, obviously. And with a serve having to be underhand, I would imagine that position on that serve is something that you talk about frequently. In practice, I saw some videos you're trying to serve into a little hula hoop there from a few years back.
Absolutely, yep. And now we've made that hula hoop smaller. We try to serve into a bucket now. You know, now that our girls are better and a little more experienced, so we make it a little bit more challenging for them. But yeah, serve is certainly a big part of the game, and you can see how quick those matches or those points go right there with 3-4 good hits and then point over.
I believe it's 10-7 Kennedy, if I heard that correctly.
Nice
smash there from Candice.
Yes.
How would you rather see a point one, Todd? A big-time smash or just kind of running your opponent around and strategically getting it done?
Yeah,
a little bit harder in doubles to do that, obviously.
It is. Yeah, but that's a good question. That makes me think back to, we'll just talk a little bit about while we're playing the match here. They can watch, but, it makes me think back to our state champion, Chu Song Nasong. We started our program in 2016, and as I said before, she was one of the instrumental players in really building our program. And her family is originally from Tibet, and Chu Song had some background in badminton and was very excited to play, and she was an outstanding player. And when she first started, it was a lot of power. And her first year playing, she made it actually to the Final Four in the state, which shocked a lot of people that, you know, a new team would have a player that strong. And then she continued to work on her game and evolved and added a little bit more fine touch around the edges with a combination of power. And that's ultimately what you want. You know, you need to be able to have that fine touch, a little drop shot, but then also if your opponent makes a mistake, to be able to smash it down, just like Candace did right there. So the combination of the two is really what we're looking for.
14-11 right now. Kennedy leading this first game, and that one will float wide. So a fault there, 15-11. See if Kennedy can close out here for their first win, at least that we've seen on this court. Obviously, other matches going on.
Oh, that's a nice return, very nice return. And as you talked about before, sometimes just keeping the birdie in play is a pretty good strategy. Great drop shot. And a good power, good power. Belle's a little frustrated she hit that out, but that's all right. We've been working on hitting with a little more power and backing our opponents up.
It was a good setup, just not quite the angle.
All right, so we're getting another tight match here by the looks of it.
Yeah, 15-13 Kennedy. Or 14-15
14-15, I think. All right, there we go. All right, 15-15. Credit to Eden Prairie again for continuing to battle and come from behind.
And 5 points in a row now for EP.
So this is where, you know, we need to kind of take a little bit of a breath and slow things down a little bit. And that's a good shot by Candace. And Kennedy's battling to stay in this match.
Eden Prairie calling that out, so now.
All right, you can see the girls kind of talking that one out a little bit to make sure that they're all on the same page. I think there was a serve from the wrong side of the court.
Yeah, does that end up in a fault, or they redo that?
Yeah, that should be. But sometimes, you know, there's some uncertainty about the rule, and but it looks like that time Kennedy played that right, and Eden Prairie ended up getting the next point back.
And that serve was short. It has to go past. And again, these lines are hard to see. There's a kind of a faint blue line there that it has to at least get past in terms of depth on the court.
There you go. So the serve is about 6 feet, the service line back from the net. It has to get over that. And then after the serve, it can land anywhere inside the boundaries, and that's where we want to hit that drop shot to see if we can hear the score.
Now 19-17, I believe. Eden Prairie leading this first game.
So a game point here for Eden Prairie. A couple of tight matches so far with Taylor and with these girls. So we'll see if Eden Prairie can close out. Oh, that's a great return from Eden Prairie.
But the second smash working for Belle. So 18-20, still game point.
Yeah, so a little pressure on. You know, sometimes when you know you're serving for the game, you can get a little bit more nervous. We'll see how this point goes. Another big one. Good little backhand flick serve there by Candace. And you can see again how quick those points are. Oh, a nice stretch, nice reach.
What a point there for Kennedy.
Yes.
Candace really doing the job there. Now 19-20.
Yes. So if we can tie this up, then you know it goes at least until 22 because you have to win by 2. Another good backhand flick serve.
And it's in. So now 20-20, 3 in a row for Kennedy.
Yes. So the next point's the biggest, as they say. Another nice backhand flick serve.
That'll be just short. So now another game point for EP at 21-20.
Nice clear shot. There we go. Belle has a really good drop shot. All right. So it looks like EP takes a tight one, 21-19.
Man, Todd, we can't get every game right down to the wire so far. They have, I don't know if you coached the girls to make sure it was dramatic for TV purposes, but it has been enjoyable so far as teams will get a breather here. And again, we're watching the #1 doubles between Belle Shadeo and Candace Liu for Kennedy, and Sophie Clausen and Grace Moen for Eden Prairie. Great first game, 22-20. Eden Prairie has the 1-0 best out of 3 lead.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. So our girls are getting coached up again over there on the sidelines from some of our coaches and some of our players, helping them out, probably giving them a few tips that might help them. So I'll take, this opportunity when we don't have a game. There's a few shout outs that I'd like to give out.
Okay.
We've had a few members of our badminton team that have really been instrumental over the years and really started our program. We've talked about Chusong. I want to mention Angela Tang, a 17 graduate. Angela was one of our original superstars, I'll call them, and she is back helping out coach right now. We have Vacheka Chi, Vacheka 18 graduate, and also one of our, I'll maybe call them founding mothers or founding daughters of our program, gave us instant credibility and really helped build our program. So Angela and Vacheka are back helping coach. We have Yanling Yuan and her doubles partner Tran Nguyen, 2 great players who made it to the Final Four back in 2019. And making it to the Final Four is a pretty impressive feat when you consider the state tournament. There's upwards of 60 teams in the state tournament, and Tran and Yanling made it to the Final Four. They were excellent players. Yanling's younger sister, Yan Mei, an excellent player, one of the best players we've ever had in our program. And she graduated last year. And, Yan Mei, I feel bad for her. She was an up-and-coming superstar, and I think one of the girls who had potential to also be a state champion. She broke her foot her junior year and really worked hard to rehab and come back. And then last year, the COVID hit, and she didn't get an opportunity to finish up her high school badminton career. So that was a tough one, because Yan Mei definitely was one of the best players who have ever come through our program. And then there's 2 more quick mentions, and we'll get talking about this match. We also had Kim Win and An Win, a couple other girls who have come through who really helped build our program. So a quick shout out to all those girls. I've put them all in my personal Kennedy Badminton Hall of Fame. And, I thank all of them for everything they've done for our program. So here we go, back with Candace and Belle in game 2.
Kennedy off to a good start in this game as well.
There's that backhand spot that we want to hit it to, and just kind of a miss hit. Sometimes that happens. You get too excited to smash it down.
Yeah, we've seen that a few times. They get, that badminton racket is so light, you can really whip through the hitting zone very quickly, and most of the time that mistake is you get through it too quickly.
Exactly. You get maybe a little bit too excited. You get a little bit too anxious. You see that birdie hanging up there, and you really want to smash it down.
It's so tempting.
It is. There's a good smash right there. And like all sports, it's a mental battle as well as a physical battle. If you're hitting the birdie well, you're feeling good, you feel invincible. If you have a couple misses, and maybe you start to second guess yourself. So I credit these girls. They're battling hard out there. They're working.
This is Grace Moen. I wanted to clarify who was who there. Grace is the blonde with the black mask, and you have Sophia Clausen. She's got the blue mask with the longer, darker hair.
So that serve was out. So there are 2 lines at the end of the court, and it's kind of a little finicky rule in badminton. There's actually a shorter line at the end for doubles. So the double serve has to be a little bit of a shorter area that you put it in, and then after the serve, the court, gets a little bit bigger. So it's tough, but double serving, there's not a real big area to put it in, like singles. So getting that serve in the right spot is important. So a little bit of talk here on the lines, not exactly sure.
I actually checked with, I believe, head coach John Becker, who has sided with the Kennedy call, which was out there.
Yes. And usually, as coaches, we try to, stay out of it. We try to let the girls work it out themselves. If they ask us for help or look for us for help, which those girls were, then, we'll offer up what we felt it was. But, the points go so quickly, the birdie goes so fast, the lines are so light colored, it's tough. That was another good point right there. Good action.
Nice job there from Candace Liu on that point. 9-5 Kennedy. Again, needing to win this game to get it to game number 3 in the best of 3. Point there for Eden Prairie. Make it 9-6. Kennedy now 9-7 as that smash from Belle Shadale goes into the net. Now 9-8 Kennedy with Sophie serving for Eden Prairie. Now 9-9. So 4 points in a row for Eden Prairie at 10-9. Still Sophie Clausen serving. Nice point there from Belle. Really aggressive there right at the net.
Yes, Belle's game has really improved the last couple of weeks. She's worked hard on her little touch around the net. She's been really good at that all year, but just in the last week, the power component of her game has really come up. That was a great reaction there by Candace. She almost got that back to have that quick reflex action to return that. Just like Eden Prairie, there was a great play by Eden Prairie.
And that did, I believe, float long.
Yep.
And I don't envy the players because these lines are, I know maybe you're lobbying for some additional paint to be on the court here, Todd, but I can see why.
Yeah, you know, when they originally put the lines on the court, we did not have a badminton team, so I don't think there was much consideration. It was mainly just for our Phi-Ed classes. Sure. But now that we're a fairly well-established badminton program, I think I might have to lobby with our activities director, John Anderson, to maybe a little bit of a darker shade of brown. Nice smash, Belle. Or maybe a little blue in there to make them a little bit easier for our girls and our opponents to see.
Right. Yeah, it obviously goes both ways. And you just want to make sure that the call is correct, too. And
yes, absolutely. And, you know, I've seen times, particularly in the state tournament, where, you know, well, just like our first 3 games we've seen, it's a 2-point difference. And I don't ever think girls are being intentionally unethical or cheating. Sometimes it's just really hard to see. So if we had some darker lines there, it might be a little bit easier and help them make better calls. So this is another good rally. The girls are going back and forth here. They're both getting involved in the play. Eden Prairie with a nice little drop shot, but it looks like it must have sailed a little wide.
And it's hard, right? When you're trying to call yourself, sometimes, you know, I know in tennis, so you might be on a dead sprint to try to, you're acting like you need to chase the ball down, and you're also trying to watch it clip a line. I mean, that's very hard to do.
Very hard, you're right. Yeah, so when it actually gets to like the state championship final game, we'll get coaches involved in calling the lines and keeping track of the score. So that's helpful. But yeah, it is. There's a lot of things to keep track of the score and doubles, keep track of the serve it's supposed to be.
Before a fault there, they were able to get the correct server there. So I believe at 15-13, that should be in. It looked like, and it was. So 16-13. See if Kennedy can close out one of these games here, Todd.
Yeah, that's right. We've been knocking on the door. But a lot of credit to Eden Prairie with some good mental toughness. They've been down and have fought back. So yeah, this is big here for us. Hopefully we can squeeze out a win. These girls are both teams playing well, but it'd be nice to see a game 3. It'd be kind of fun.
17-14 Kennedy. Shorter serve that might have landed short. It was played, but it ends up in a point for Kennedy anyway. So now 3 points away.
You're right. That serve looked like it might have been short. If you play it, that's fine.
Yep.
And then I think it landed right on the line. Another good serve there, but it looks like it maybe just went
Fortuitous miss there for Eden Prairie.
Yeah, that happens too. Yeah, you're right. I think she tried to hit it and missed it, but if she did not make contact with it, then it doesn't count.
And that one well wide there, so a fault at the wrong time there for Eden Prairie. So now Kennedy on 19. Right, 2 points away as they talk strategy.
There you go, exactly. Who's going to maybe rotate up, who will rotate back. Sometimes the girls will feel better about, hey, I want to be at the front. Hey, I want to be at the back. You can see both teams really want this point. This is a good one. This is a big momentum point right here.
And it's out. Good point for Kennedy. And both teams really weren't too aggressive there, Todd. They wanted to make sure they stayed in that point, I think.
Yeah, they're going back to, I think, your Tom Satterdahl point there. Just don't play yourself out of the point.
Maybe he only told that to me because I couldn't overpower anyone, Todd. But
all right, well,
maybe some of our better players, he would just tell, go ahead, smash that thing. Kennedy takes this game.
Yes.
21-16.
Yes.
We'll let you be impartial. We don't often get the head coach doing play-by-play, so I appreciate it. I know you might at times want to run out there and give the girls some instruction, but good win there for Kennedy. Now we get to go to a pivotal game number 3 in this match, and Kennedy a chance to get their first point of the match.
Yes. That was a really good win for those girls, and I think they're feeling good about themselves now, feeling confident and ready to get game 3 going. And so when we play the third game, when you get to 11 points, you'll switch sides. So if one side has a more difficult background, it gets evened out. So we'll see how game 3 goes. But I'll also take this time, if I can, to talk about a few more parts of our program. You have some coaches I want to mention. Jack Kavanaugh, longtime teacher in Bloomington, longtime coach. Cavi and I coached girls badminton together for 20 years. Now this is our 6th year coaching girls badminton. Cavi's also coached hockey in the district. He's coached softball in the district, so he probably has 40 plus years of coaching in our district. Angela Tang and Vachinka Chi, who I mentioned before, back helping out our program. And we also have Annabelle Benitez, a graduate from last year, who came back and helped. I felt really bad for Annabelle. Annabelle was an excellent player for our program last year and lost her senior year competing. So she asked me this fall, hey, is there any way I can come back and help out our program? And I said, yes, absolutely. So we're really happy to have her back. And then Derek Landseidel, a teacher in our building, an EL teacher, and a Spanish teacher. So we have, 5, 6 coaches that are very happy to be working with these girls and having fun. And, the results are showing themselves here. The girls are really playing well.
So here we go with game number 3. Coach Todd Kennedy going to discuss something with the Eden Prairie coach John Becker. You've just joined us, badminton for the first time ever here on BEC TV. Maybe for the first time we're being told in the state of Minnesota being broadcast. So some history being made here today at Kennedy High School. Josh Powers with you. This is our number 1 doubles match. Earlier, Eden Prairie won the number 2 singles match. Coming up after this match is over here in this third game, we'll have the number 1 singles match here on our featured court. Other matches in this matchup between Kennedy and Prairie going on right now on some of the exterior courts. But here on the featured court, we've gone to the distance here in game number 3 in this number 1 doubles match.
All right, so there's a good example of some communication. There we go. There was just some talk about serving and racket position when serving and making sure that the racket head was in the right spot. There was some questions from both sides about racket position to make sure that the girls have it in the right spot. So that's what we were trying to clarify out there.
And again, it has to be an underhanded motion. You can't take a step toward the net too. If I'm reading the rules correctly, as you see Candace there, leaning into it but not stepping into it.
Yes, correct. You can have a little body weight shift, a little momentum shift, but you can't be moving your feet around or stepping into it.
There's certainly a natural, body motion that needs to occur when you're serving.
Yes, exactly.
It's 2-1 Eden Prairie here in the early going. Whoever wins this game will win this number 1 doubles match. Good rally here, and Eden Prairie wins this point. Good defense there from Sophie Clausen. So we're going to get a little bit of instruction here quickly to Belle Shadeo about that racket position on her serve is what I was hearing you talk about off-air, Todd.
Yes. So that was a great little smash by her right there, but we just want to make sure that racket head is getting a little bit closer to her waist. It was getting a little bit too high up towards chest area. So, that's a great thing about our sport and our coaches. We talk to each other. We want to make sure we're doing things the right way and having our girls learn the rules and playing by them and enforcing them. And that's what's going on right now. They're talking about the lines and talking about the serve. And we just want to.
And there's been a little bit of controversy now that thicker white line ends at a certain point on the court, and then it goes to a thinner blue line, and right there where it's kind of landed on that thinner line, it's been a couple of points a little bit in dispute for both sides.
There has been. There's some good-natured competitiveness out there. I think they're both doing it respectfully, but that'll happen when you're enforcing your own rules and responsible for calling lines, and sometimes you just see something different than
right. And also you've got a finer little ball on the end of the birdie, right, that lands on the court. You got a wider part of the back of the birdie that it can be difficult to see where exactly the point of that birdie lands often. Yes,
you're absolutely right. And what happens quite a bit is the birdie will bounce out.
Right.
It'll land in, bounce out, and then a girl might turn around, see the birdie out, and say, "Oh, it's out." And your opponent might say, "Well, you didn't see it land in and bounce out." So again, just something that you have to each help each other with, and sometimes emotions get high, just like in most sports, but they usually work it out themselves.
Kennedy winning that point, so now 6-7 Kennedy serving. Again, first 21 will win this match.
It looks like it went just a little bit long, but sometimes it's okay to have that miss be a little bit long if you can send a message to your opponent that, hey, I'm able to hit it back there. Nice reaction for Belle off that serve.
Do they call that shot where you're backing up the opponent? Do they call that a clear, or
yes.
Is that terminology not correct?
No, that is absolutely correct. And we've been working hard on our clear shots this last week, because if you can get your opponent all the way to the back of the court, two things might happen. Number one is they might not be able to clear it far enough back,
right,
where you can smash it down, and then you can also set them up for the little drop shot. So it looks like that serve came up a little bit short. Yeah.
Belle got the ace last time. That one just a little short. That one was a good 4 or 5 inches short, it looked like.
Yes.
We have a pretty good look down that line.
Yep, it was right on the line. That was definitely short, but from where they were, their angle, I don't think they could see it, but I fully agree with the Eden Prairie girls on that call.
10-9 Kennedy. They've battled back. They were behind early in this game, and now 11-9.
All right. You can see the importance of communication there. And that happens a lot, obviously, where one Eden Prairie girl thought maybe the other one was going to play it, then at the last second they realized neither of them were. Another good clear. I think it went just out, but that's all right. We don't mind seeing that right now because we've been talking about that a lot.
No, they will switch sides here in this final game of this match at 11-10. Kennedy leading. So we are headed for another great finish. All these games have been close.
Great returns by Eden Prairie.
Oh, right there. Candace Liu, great smash. One of her better points, certainly right there. 12-10 Kennedy. How excited are you, Todd, that these two Kennedy players, only juniors?
Yes, very excited. We like everybody else, we lost out on a year of development last year. And that was tough and that was challenging. So our juniors are really starting to step it up, and we have some sophomores also playing varsity. So it gives a coach a certain reason to be optimistic and excited for next year as well.
And all of a sudden, 15-10 now, Todd, in this third and decisive game.
Yeah,
Kennedy a
so-
little bit of separation right now.
Yeah, they're on a nice little run. If they can get this next point here, I think they'll be probably feeling pretty good about their chances.
Into the net, and a little opportunity missed there from Bell.
Yeah, you can see Bell was frustrated with that one again. That was one she was excited to put away, and maybe just a little overexcited. But I really like the way these two are playing right now. They're stepping up their game. I've seen them improve even from the beginning of this match to now. And they're both fun girls. They have good energy. They're awesome to coach. They work hard. But again, we talk about momentum. Here it goes. Now Eden Prairie's on a roll.
Yep, 3 in a row for Eden Prairie. 15-13 Kennedy. That one will twist wide, so now 15-14.
This is a big one. All right, 15-15.
15 all.
Here we go.
Give
We might
Eden
call
Prairie
this
credit
one.
here.
Yes, this might be the point of the match right here.
There's
Okay,
a key
well,
point for Kennedy. They needed that one.
Yeah, they did.
No time. You can't call a timeout right here, Ty.
You know, it's frustrating as a coach, just like tennis and somewhat like golf. And you can't go out and speak to your athletes
Right.
during the match. You can't hold up flashcards or do hand signals. You know, play the game of charades. Because you definitely would sometimes just like to go, all right, hey, let's take a breath here, or calm down, or hey, think about doing this. And you can see Bell taking on maybe a little frustration there with that great smash. So
17-16 Kennedy with the lead back. And the smash from Grace Moen into the net. So now 18-16, Kennedy 3 points away.
nice backhand flick serve, good clear by Eden Prairie. We timed this well.
My
You're right.
goodness.
We've seen some great matches today. This is what badminton should be like. Oh, nice
Great
clear.
shot from Bell
Yes.
once again. Well-placed power right there from Bell Shadeo, and now 19-17.
All right, here we go. This is a big one, boy. If you get to 20, you feel good about things. Have a little extra confidence, not quite as much pressure.
That
Good,
goes
yeah.
out, I believe. No, it was in.
Yeah,
So
good spot by Eden Prairie. They saw an opening in that back left corner, and they picked it. So 18-19, maybe, if my math is correct here.
18-19. Kennedy returning.
Oh,
And a
good.
nice smash from Grace Moen. So
Yes.
now 19 all. Another one's going to come down to the last couple points.
Yes, it will. I don't have a feeling it'll be 21-19 in this game for somebody.
That's out, so hopefully it's 21-19. That means right
That
now
means
it's
we'll win if
match
it's, yeah.
point for Kennedy with Bell Shadeo serving.
Nice backhand flick serve. Okay,
And
20-20. Here
20
we
all.
go. So now we need to win by 2.
Until you get to 29, correct? Or is that-
30.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you can win 30-29, then it's over. I haven't seen too many matches get to that point. However, we had a 27-25 earlier this week.
Second match point for
Here
Kennedy
we
at
go.
21-20.
Oh, that's a nice deep flick backhand serve. You kind of change it up a little bit.
Great return from
Yes.
Sophie Clausen. There was not a lot of angle
No, there
available
wasn't.
there.
I thought that might have been the winner.
So 21 all.
Yeah.
Two Eden Prairie seniors battling back.
Nice deep clear.
And it's
Okay.
in, so a third match point for Kennedy at 22-21.
And some last minute motivational speeches there by Candace to Bell. Good flick serve. And
Candace
there
Liu
is.
putting it away. Kennedy can celebrate. What a great match. Another one, that one going extra time, if you will.
Yes.
Todd, and how appropriate they're able to put it away with a nice smash. That's the way to end a great match. Great job
That really was.
from Belle Shadeo and Candace Liu. You have to feel great for both of those young ladies. Todd.
Really good. Yeah, that's their first varsity win for those two as well, too. So a special day for them. That was excellent to see them battling. So now we have our last match that we're going to be covering, and our #1 singles will be up. So we're we're excited for that, and it should be, I would anticipate, another good one. Why wouldn't it be, right? They've
Yeah.
all been so far.
Literally, every game we've had in our featured court so far has at least been 21-19, if not more. So, and great comeback, too. They got down 1-0.
Yes.
Todd, they're going up against two. Eden Prairie is one of the better programs of the 25 participating Minnesota State High School League schools, and they came back against a pair of Eden Prairie seniors. That's not an easy task.
Not easy at all, not easy at all. You're right. When you lose that first one, sometimes mentally being able to bounce back is tough. And on the flip side, you know, if you win the first one, you're feeling pretty good about things, and if you lose the second one, now you start to question yourself a little bit. So, as we've mentioned a few times, where I have the game of momentum, it happens like that in points, and it happens like that in games too. So this should be a good one. We have Kim Garcia, one of our captains, excellent player for us. Another one of our players who was a doubles player for 3 years, and this year has moved to playing singles. And it's quite a bit of a different game. You know, you have to cover more court. Kim had a partner, Allie. They played together for a lot of years, so there's a little bit of a transition at the beginning of the year for Kim. And she's really done a good job. She's worked hard at her game. Our coaches, Angela, Bacheka, and Annabelle, have really worked hard with Kim. And I know she's really excited to be playing today and playing for some friends and family that are probably out there watching.
You just watched a replay, or we don't have it on our monitor, but they showed a replay of that last point there from Candace Liu and some celebration.
Yes.
Great moment for Kennedy Badminton here.
It is. I love to see the excitement and the energy, and as we talked about before, you know, our girls being involved. I'm not sure what kind of camera angles we have here right now, but there's a nice crowd. All of the Kennedy girls are watching. All of the Eden Prairie girls are watching. It reminds me of the state tournament where, you know, there might be 400 people watching one match, and you could hear a pin drop during the match, and then, of course, the uproar after every point. So this has a little bit of that feel here right now where there's a little excitement. There's a little energy in the building, and you know, I'm excited to see where this one goes.
We've got Kim Garcia for Kennedy, Twee Ian Tran for Eden Prairie. Again, Twee Ian is in the black with the red shorts.
Yes, and you can see, I don't know if they showed it there, but we had a little birdie toss up in the air. That's how we determined who serves first. Toss the birdie up, and then whoever that white cork points to, that's who serves first. So Eden Prairie won the toss. It looks like they're off to a 1-0 start.
Looks like two players with pretty good power. At least they were displaying that in the warm-ups, as that will float wide, 1-1. Do you have any other results from the other matches, Todd?
I have not received that yet, but I'll see if I can flag down
out.
Angela, one of our coaches, to see if we can get the score from her.
You know, Kennedy at least has 1 point in this match.
All right, so here we go. Always feels good to get that first point in.
And 2-1 here, Kennedy early.
Nice
with
deep
Kim
serve.
leading. Now 3-1.
All right, it looks like Eden Prairie won the number 4 singles match. It looks like Eden Prairie won the number 3 singles matches. Pretty closely contested. And as we just watched, we saw Belle and Candace come up with their win. And I have not received the other doubles scores yet, so hopefully we'll get that reported here to me pretty soon.
Okay, so we know for sure that Kennedy at least needs to win this one. A little bit of a frame shot there, but sometimes those work out, Todd.
They can work out very well, and if there was a way to ever perfect that shot,
that'd be pretty difficult.
I think you could probably be an Olympic champion off of that. You know, the full swing off the racket frame drop shot, and you can hear a little energy in the building.
Yeah, this is cool because pretty much everybody else's match has ended, Todd. So this is the only match going left as our number 1 singles. So we're going to get a little bit of an audience for this one. I like it.
You can feel it, you can hear it, and it's really exciting. And I'm sure these girls are probably a little bit of you know, nerves and excitement, and all eyes are on them, so that's pretty cool.
11-2, Kim Garcia in front here. So 11-3 now, but a great start for Kim in this first game, Todd.
Yes, yeah, very good start. So hopefully she can stay focused. Sometimes if you get a big lead, there's just a natural tendency to maybe step off the gas a little bit, maybe lose your focus, and then as we've seen, how quickly that can change. So if Kim can keep it going here and get a few more
Great
points.
smash.
Yes.
That was well done.
That was well done. Very well played.
14-3 now, Kim Garcia. Nice clear there from Twee and Tran for Eden Prairie. And I know you maybe adjusted your format a little bit to get this last singles match. Normally it may have been already played, so we appreciate that, Todd. And I know probably both these players appreciate having a little bit of a stage here to themselves.
Absolutely. As I said, usually you don't get this kind of set up maybe until you get to the state tournament,
right,
where all eyes are on them. So this is kind of fun.
And that one stays in for Kim Garcia. So 17-5.
Oh, nice shot.
Good flat smash, or maybe that was maybe a little bit more of a drive.
Yeah, I would agree. That's probably a little bit of a drive. Yeah, and the drives are really difficult to control and return because they come right at the middle of your body. Sometimes a smash, you're ready for it. Your racket can be down. You could, tip it up, but the smash right at you sometimes is pretty difficult to defend.
That serve in for the
Yes.
point. So I believe it is now game point, or 19-7, excuse me.
Oh,
Great
that's
drop.
Great. This is good badminton right here. Nice, clear, little drop. All right, that was a fun point to watch right there.
Nice work from Twee and staying in that point. Great drop on a return drop, I guess you could call it. But then a fault.
Yeah.
So now Kim up at 20 points.
Oh, that's a great clear back to their backhand there. That's almost the impossible one to return.
You see her clap her racket, giving a little bit of applause to Twee Ian for that clear.
Yeah, I love to see that good sportsmanship, and that's why Kim's one of our captains.
And long, so now 20-10, still a bunch of game points to fight off.
Yeah, you should feel fairly comfortable in this situation, but you never know what can happen. As I've referenced a couple times, our former state champion there, Chisong, had a nice, comfortable lead in her state championship win a few years back, and I think she was up maybe about 20 to maybe 8 or 9, big commanding lead. And before we knew it, it was about 2015, and the gym kind of grew silent.
Right.
And she was able to close it out, and that's what's kind of going on right now.
Also here, even if Kim wins this game, some momentum right now for Twee, and she's won a few points in a row.
Yes.
And there's Kim Garcia able to close out this first game. So got off to a great start, Todd. That was important for her in that first game and kind of rode that the rest of the way. And one more game to go for Kim.
Yes, she had a really good start, and I'm sure she's feeling pretty good about herself. She's worked hard in practice, and it's nice to see the results kind of paying off in the game. So while we have a quick little break, if I could maybe just go over a couple more things here, give a few more shout-outs. I want to give a quick couple shout-outs to some of our seniors last year who missed the opportunity to play, and some of these girls were excellent. So we had Julissa Martinez Sandaria, as I mentioned before, Jan May, one of the best players we've ever had come through. Kathy Young, we had Mazi Yosef, Jessie Thompson out in Utah. Just received an email from Jessie yesterday. I think she'll be probably tuning in today. Mercedes Manchun was up at St. Cloud State, one of our captains for last year. Allie Hernandez who was Kim's doubles partner last year, Annabelle Benitez, one of our coaches, and Z Islam. So those girls, I want to thank you for everything you did for our program. And, unfortunately, we didn't get, much of a chance to close it out together and celebrate together, but I think of you girls often, and once we get through all this, I'd love to have you come back and visit us and say hi and continue to be a part of our program. I feel very fortunate that I'm able to work with these amazing young women. It's been one of the best things I've ever been involved with in teaching and coaching.
Yeah, and I watched that interview you did with WCCO a couple years back, and you mentioned that so many of these players, it's not like other sports where it might be their third sport. They're playing soccer, and then in the winter basketball, and then in the spring whatever. But for a lot of these players, this is their first introduction to a team sport, and I think that's great to see. Just getting more and more participation in athletics.
Yes, you're absolutely right. It gives our girls kind of a sense of belonging. It gives them a part of Kennedy. They're part of a team. They get to meet more girls. So it's been really good, and you're right. I don't know for sure offhand as I look around. I would say less than probably 5 of our girls, maybe even 3 or 4 are involved in other sports. We have a few girls that are involved in some other activities, but looks like we got a little maybe question on the score here. We're not sure. So hopefully these two can get it figured out. And again, as I look around the building here, it's kind of neat. All the eyes are on them.
Yeah, it's pretty cool for both of these young ladies, Twean and Kim.
So it looks like maybe our coach Angela is coming out here to help a little bit. And as I said before, we try not to get involved too often as coaches. But if there's kind of a rule interpretation question or a scoring question, then we'll step in. But we try to let the girls work it out themselves. I like Twee in there. She's got a good game about her. She's quick. She's graceful. She's powerful. You can hear her hitting that birdie. Yes,
it explodes off of her racket.
And that's what we tell our girls. If we can hear the birdie, then we know you're hitting it with some power. And boy, when we get to the state tournament, we get down to the final, maybe 4 or final 5, 6 girls. It is so much fun to watch. I wish the regular public had a little bit more of exposure to it, because it is absolutely incredible to watch these young women play. It's amazing.
That serve out for a fault. So a point for Kennedy.
And it looks like Kim returned the favor and gave that point quickly back.
Try to pick up the score here if we can.
Yeah.
Is that 3 at serving 5? I couldn't quite tell. That's out
tough.
for an Eden Prairie point. Certainly a better start in this game for Twee. And
there we go. Yeah, these girls are hitting the birdie hard. And as you talked about before, maybe some easy points being given up by both of them. They had to try to keep that birdie in play.
And that also in. So and that first game was, maybe a little bit easy for Kim. She got out to an 11-3 lead, and from there wasn't too difficult. This one proving to be a bit more of a challenge.
Yes, absolutely. And that, I kind of had that feeling just watching, Eden Prairie that first game. I felt that she was probably a better player than maybe the score indicated. But sometimes that happens, and looks like she's definitely bouncing back this game. So
nice smash there. A lot of those smashes for Twean in the first game resulted in errors. Not as many here in the second game.
Correct. Yes. Yeah, she's definitely on her game a little bit more here. So I would not be surprised if this were to go down to the wire again like the rest of them. We'll see if we can pick up a score here. Maybe 6-7.
That's what I thought I heard too.
Okay, we'll see if Kim serves from the right side here. That would indicate that she might have 8. So we'll see.
I think it's 8-8, if I heard that correctly, Todd. And a nice smash there from Twee Ian. So 9-8 Eden Prairie. Good drive there from Kim, but it is out. So 10-8 now. Eden Prairie leading here in game number 2.
There
Nice
we go.
smash from
Yes. And just, you know, as they say in a lot of sports, a game of inches, that might have been a game of millimeters right there. Eden Prairie almost got that back. And it looks like both the girls with a few unforced errors here.
You know, I don't know. I know you don't like those service, those faults, service errors, Todd. You're just free points for the other, for the opponent.
There you go. Yeah, nice smash. Yes.
So now 12-9. Tweean with the lead here in this second game.
That's a nice deep clear. There we go. That is a, you know, to be able to be that far back in the court and smash it.
Kim, I mean, there's such pace in that it's hard to tell whether that's in or out. I don't really blame her. And you said, Todd, maybe you're not expecting it from that deep in the court. That's something from Tweean's game that really, to me, stands out for her.
Yes, she's very, very powerful. Not many players are able to be that deep in the court and hit a winning smash. Usually when you're that deep in the court, it's maybe a drop shot. It might be a clear shot. But to be able to smash it from that far back is pretty impressive. So I think I just heard a 10-13,
Yep.
Yeah. And look at that drop shot. Just came over the net.
And then counters it with a smash. Yes. That is a great point.
So Eden Prairie with some momentum in this match for sure. I think she's starting to feel a little bit more confident about her game. Both these girls clearly know that they can win with Kim winning the first one and Tweean bouncing back in this one. I think
15-10 now.
I think they both know that they can do it. That was a really, really good shot from Kim, as we talked about. When you're deep in the back of the court, most times it's a drop shot. So.
Kim thought it was 11-14, but it was 11-15.
Yep, absolutely.
And another .1 for Tweean, so now 16-11.
And a little bit of a state tournament feel here where you can kind of sense it and feel it. It's really quiet in here between the points and some good energy at the points.
.1 there for Kim Garcia. Still time to battle back here again. She won the first game. So
here's where I think it could be helpful to have that scoreboard out here, because I think there's some struggles with the scores.
And that floats deep, so now 18-12.
That is a great return.
But couldn't quite keep the point alive, so 19-12 now.
All right, so I just got the report of some of our double scores we were waiting for. So it looks like Fagencia and Lil Kim. Nice smash again. Yes.
Great point for Kim Garcia right there.
Yes, excellent point. So Fagencia and Lil Kim won their match. They lost the first one 19-21, and then won 21-17 and 21-17. So right now, Eden Prairie technically
they have the match,
4-2,
yep.
But it would be sure nice, to tighten it up a little bit here. But Kim will have some work to do, that's for sure.
Yeah, and you look that margin for error. You think back to the first number 2 singles we watched. Both those games came down to the wire. If Kim goes on to win that, you think if that match had flipped, Kennedy could be, or
there you go.
Could have a chance to win this match, and that's all it takes. A couple points here and there.
Yes.
You see Eden Prairie winning this second game. So Why not,
Yes.
Todd? Why not go to the third? How appropriate here for this
Absolutely.
match that has been so close between these teams. We're going to go to a third and decisive game here in the #1 singles.
Yes, a good way to wrap it up here. We've had some great coverage today. We've had some great badminton today. So it's been really fun to watch these girls get out here and compete. Well, maybe one more chance here to give a couple more shout-outs, and one that's really special to us is we lost a member of our badminton team in 2018, Dee Dee Blee. And I want to make sure we remember Dee Dee. She was a student here. She was an athlete here. She was a badminton player for us. Her name is on the sleeves of our shirts. Dee Dee would have graduated last year. So she fell ill and passed away very quickly, and it was really hard on our school. It was really hard on our badminton community. And I want Dee Dee to know and her family to know that we have always kept her in our thoughts, and she's always with us. So not to be a somber tone, but that's an important part of our program.
Well, yeah, obviously you can see that each on your uniforms, Todd. It is called out, and I was going to ask about that. So thanks for reading my mind. But
yep, absolutely.
Sorry for that loss, but a great way to remember her.
It is. Any time. We lose a young person, a student, an athlete. It's really difficult. And Bloomington's, suffered some losses recently too, and it's hard. It's hard on kids. It's hard on families. So Dee was a special gal and brought great energy and excitement and taste of bad music and interesting fashion to our program. So we certainly remember her fondly and wish that she was able to be here with us, Cyril. But
and you mentioned the loss in the city of Bloomington. Of course, you coached hockey for Kennedy and Mike Ryan for the Jefferson program. But just a reminder, 2020 taught us that life is precious, and it's just great to see sports continuing and to give these young ladies a chance to compete and to be around teammates and to do something that they really love to do.
Absolutely. I totally agree 100%. And that's, the most important part for us as teachers and coaches to, just have kids involved and to have a sense of community and to be part of something special. And, when I get emails like I did the other day from a girl who graduated last year talking about her time and how many girls she met and how much fun she had with her teammates and how she was, so appreciative of those relationships. That's what really is important. And you're right. We've definitely learned some hard lessons here the last couple of years. So we're happy to be back playing.
Absolutely. This is the first time we've been here for badminton. This is a great rally developing, but Kim Garcia puts it away. So 2-2, we're underway here in this all-important game number 3.
It is.
Eden Prairie has the match won, but this would be a nice feather in the cap
it would be.
Kim to get a #1 singles match win here.
Yes, you bet. And that's the thing. Your team could lose the match, but you could still win your match and feel good about that. So we're definitely pulling for her, and Twee's a formidable opponent, that's for sure. So this is a great way to wrap up our first ever coverage of Kennedy Badminton. Great way to showcase our sport here with these two #1s getting after it.
Great return. Somehow able to get to that one, but it does float wide. And maybe that first match a little bit of or the first game a little bit of a red herring. Tweehan has certainly picked up her game in games number 2 and 3.
She has, and as we talked about last match, I felt that she was probably a stronger player than the score indicated in the first match, and she's clearly showing that in match number 2 and also this match right here. So good for these two girls.
For a point, 5-4. And kudos to our crew, somehow keeping track on that BEC scoreboard.
Yeah, whoever has the
clicker,
clicker back there, it's probably the most difficult sport to score. You're right. Maybe hockey being one of the easier ones, or soccer. Badminton certainly has to be the hardest. I suppose volleyball might be close behind it, but great smash.
7-4 Twee and the last couple of points.
Well, they should be getting, close to that halfway point here, and if you can be the one to get to 11 first.
Switch sides again,
you
right, for
switch,
even in the singles here?
Switch sides at 11, and if you're the one that has 11 first, you usually feel a little bit better about things.
Tweehan's got that dominant forehand overhead, Todd. That is.
Yeah, that's definitely the difference maker for her. If Kim makes a mistake, she's pretty quick to put it away. Even like right there on her backhand, that is a really high level difficult shot, and she made it look pretty easy.
That was one where I played tennis left-handed, but I would favor my right-handed backhand, which threw opponents off.
I bet it did.
I don't probably see too many two-handed backhands in
not too
badminton like I had in tennis.
Not too many. Once in a while, maybe out of complete desperation, there might be a two-hand swing at it, but not often. You're right. You need to be able to have the little wrist flick,
right,
and generate the power that way. And that's, when you watch the high-level players play, they just make it look effortless and just a little wrist flick. So
all of a sudden here, 11-5, now 11-6. Is into the net for the point for Kim Garcia. Drop shot a little bit short.
So it looks like they maybe
probably
forgot
should have switched the last point.
There
but
they go. And so if
there's no wind and you switch, but I don't know how much of a factor it really makes.
Yeah, most times not much. There are some gyms where the lighting or the background could be a factor. In this gym, they're both fairly equal, so I don't think it's a big difference. Sometimes it could be a little bit of a momentum switch, though. If you're maybe the losing girl, you wanna switch sides, and have a little change.
And I think that clear landed in for Twee, and at least it looked like that's how Kim called it.
So it looks like we're at 13-6 here. The next couple of points are pretty big, and Eden Prairie is starting to pull away a little bit. You can hear how hard those girls are hitting the birdie. That's when you know you got some high level stuff going on.
Great shot there from Kim Garcia. Yeah. She needs a few more of those.
Yeah, that's a point that'll make you feel a little bit better about yourself and give you some momentum.
And it is 14-7 as Tweehan is trying to communicate over, I believe. So it is 7 serving 14. Not much you can do with that smash there from Twee.
Yeah, Twee looks like she's ready to close this one out and hop on the bus back to Eden Prairie. As we've said, though, momentum can change quickly in badminton, so hopefully Kim will keep battling here. If you get 1 point, maybe that leads to 2, but Twee definitely has stepped up her game from that first match. And
that has to feel good.
Kim says not so fast right there, though.
Make it 8 serving 16.
Yeah, but if Kim can get it to 10-16, every little point counts. But that one looks like it sailed a little long, but sometimes we don't mind the long ones if they can get your opponent to the back of the court, and at least they know that you're capable of clearing it that far back. So credit to Kim here. She's not rolling over. She's continuing to grind it out.
That one will go just a little bit deep. So Twee 3 away.
Yes. You can start to kind of feel it here. But boy, once again, such a big thank you to BEC and Tom and to yourself for coming out and supporting and covering our girls. This is a special day for Kennedy Badminton, and one that these girls will be able to always have the memory and talk about.
And we were able to see a big-time Kennedy win in that last doubles match, so that was fun.
That was a lot of fun. That's something that those girls can hold on to that video and talk about and celebrate. And, even though it looks like Tweety might be the victor in this match, Kim should still feel really good about herself, and she'll have this memory to watch too, because she's a good player. It looks like that's all she wrote.
Maybe a little bit of TV nerves for Tweety in that first game, perhaps. Yeah. Kim was able to take advantage.
A little bit of the rope-a-dope there, the first one. But, credit to her. That was fun. So it looks like Eden Prairie would be the 5-2 victors, 5-2. I believe. So, kudos and congratulations to them. That was a fun match today.
Well, Todd, I want to thank you. You've been so inviting to our crew, helping. I know emails with you and Tom going back and forth, all the logistics, but just to be able to set up this match and get some featured games on our featured court here. Just great to see the level of support, enthusiasm on both of these teams' side. I'm glad your program is up and humming, and hopefully more schools around the metro and around the state get involved in the sport of badminton. It's just a great way for athletics to continue, and for girls, and maybe there'll be boys programs soon.
I get that question a lot from our boys.
More and more can participate, but I know on behalf of BEC TV, we're so glad to have been here today to cover it, and thanks to you and the team for helping us out.
Well, thank you so much, and this is a big production, and thank you for having badminton thrown at you, and and doing a little research and doing some prep work to get here. And as I said, I've listened to you for a lot of years with hockey and football, so it was really fun to sit down with you and talk some badminton today and share this with you. This means a lot to me and our school and our program and our girls, so thank you so much to everybody involved. And there's a lot of behind-the-scenes things that go on that I wasn't even aware about, and all the student help that we have and the staff help that we have. It's awesome. So
yeah, no doubt. Please watch the credits. All of our student crew will be able to get their name called out. Great job, everybody. I get to cross covering badminton off my bucket list.
There you go.
I've pretty much done everything else. So great day here for girls badminton. Eden Prairie wins at 5-2. Just some final thoughts from you, Todd, to wrap up here.
Yes, thank you. Yep, awesome. Great performance by Eden Prairie. Congratulations to them. I thought our Kennedy girls all performed well. We talked all the time. Attitude, effort, sportsmanship. Those are the things that you can control. Sometimes you can't control the score or the outcome if your opponent's better than you, but you can control how you represent yourself. And as always, our girls represented themselves first class.
A lot of fun. Coach Becca right there hopping in to some mutual thanks.
Yes, we got a return trip, or we have a return trip coming to Eden Prairie next month, so we'll look forward to that.
There you go. Hopefully some revenge.
We'll hope so. All right. I think our girls are motivated. There was some energy out here today. I like it.
It was a lot of fun. A very first ever badminton broadcast on BEC TV, and maybe even the first ever in the state of Minnesota. A landmark day
it was
for Kennedy High School. Glad to be here. Eden Prairie gets round one, 5-2, our final score here today. For our entire crew, for Todd Kennedy, it's Josh Powers saying so long from Kennedy High School.